Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. This is Joe, the bearded historian. He'll tell you an interesting history. Be careful of his soldiers, they can be brats. This is Angel, she's an entity. She'll cause chaos and plant her hands at you. This is Sue, she likes spirits, not the alcohol. She's the reason this channel exists. This is David, he likes fire trucks. He's here occasionally. Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. We preserve his story. Alright, so we have a video today, the very end of July, for an event that starts in August. The rally. The Sturgis rally. If you are a biker, I am sure you've heard of it. You may have even been to. It's not an event I've ever been to, but we are going to be popping down there this year since it's the 85th, I think. It's one of the fives. Anyway, I think it's 85th if I remember correctly, but who knows. Anyway, before all that, and before Joe's rambling, shout out time is a shout out just for you. You support me, so I support you. This shout out is for our friends. Let's see who it is today. Are you ready? You can see our race is biking. I didn't know these are motorbikes rather than motorcycles, but that's the closest I got. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we got Hiking Ontario, there's Spirit, there's Glitter, there's Bobby, there's If I Can, Principal, there's Tails, Lily and Bear, Mike's Garden, Sheena, Stony, Cruise Nuts, Laura, We Go, Brits, Principal, Scully, Dirt Digger, Brad, Win, Gracie, Day One. Let's see, who else do I see? There's Gruff, Crazy Train, Carnival, and Ari, Spectral, Ford. Oh, it's gonna be Ford. Hang on a minute. Alright, this is Miss Ford. Life in Southern California, never a dull moment. Choosing channel, best life. So Miss Ford is kind of a vlog, if you can see. Lots of experiences. Not a lot of individual videos, but she does have a lot of shorts. Dude, I made you famous, and fishy. And of course, but most of them are her lives. So she's got walking, her doggo. So a lot of it is a little vlog of her life and things like that. So check out Miss Ford, and let us know what you think. I think rain started.
Is that the rain or is that the washing machine?
I think it's the rain. I'll go check though.
Yeah.
Alright, I got this video started if you want to start telling them about motorcycles and crazy people.
Okay.
I'm not sure that that's rain.
Okay. We like to talk about crazy things because these guys have been doing crazy for what'll be a long time now. Basically, what we're going to talk about is what's known as the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. It's an annual event that they have every August. This year actually is going to kick off on the 1st through the 10th in 2025. First one was actually done in 1938, August 14th. It was held by a group known as the Jack Pine Gypsies Motorcycle Club. Interesting enough, this club still owns and operates the tracks, hill climb, and field areas where the rally is centered. If you have ever gone into Sturgis from the south end on the interstate, and after you pass the first exit, you look over to the left and you'll see this red dirt rock hill with tracks going up it. You can't miss it.
I think I did miss it.
Yeah. And the first event was affectionately known as the Black Hills Motor Classic. The founder was a fellow named Clarence Pappy Holt. And we've actually seen a couple of his bikes at the museum there in Sturgis.
I vaguely remember that.
Yep. He actually purchased the Indian motorcycle franchise in Sturgis in 1936 and then formed the Jack Pine Gypsies in 1938. The Jack Pine Gypsies were inducted into the Motorcycle Hall of Fame in 1997, and Holt was inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame the following year. Now, the focus of the motorcycle rally originally was racing and stunts, and in 1961 the rally was expanded to include the hill climb and motocross races. This would include the half-mile track racing. The first year in Sturgis there were 19 participants, intentional board wall crashes,
Well, that's
ramp
unsafe.
jumps, oh yeah, and head-on collisions with automobiles.
Yay!
I wonder how long they did that until they figured out, this was probably a way to lose members instead of keep them.
Nah.
Now, interestingly enough, the Sturgis had been held every year, and the only exceptions they had were during World War II. In 1942, the decision was made by the Black Hills Motor Classic Committee to not hold their regular event until after the war was over. Reason given for not holding the event was the inability to obtain high-class talent. Well, the Sturgis Rally would not be held again until 1946, when the Black Hills Classic reorganized and made plans to revive the motorcycle rally. Now, originally, the rally was composed of two separate events that spanned 3 days. Starting of the event was a gypsy tour, where riders would be guided through the Black Hills by an escort of Jack Pine Gypsy Club members. The following 2 days would be filled with motorcycle and automobile races. Additional events would be held in the downtown district of Sturgis, including parades, dances, and animal shows.
Now, there's a parade. I've never heard of it. I have heard of the rest, though.
Yeah, well, given that was back in the 60s, way before I was even
I'm
born.
just saying.
Yeah. Now, through the 70s and early 80s, many attendees would actually camp in the city park.
Yes, they do.
Well, when a record of 40,000 visitors arrived in Sturgis in 1980, local residents became concerned with the behavior of these attendees. Now,
Nah.
to give you an idea, Sturgis, during the other 50 weeks of the year, has a population of about 7,000. So you add in 40,000 people, it tends to get a little crowded. Well, in 1982, a referendum was presented to the city asking them to no longer provide municipal services such as parking on Main Street, law enforcement, allowing the camping on the city park. City Attorney Dale Hansen advised that any vote would be non-binding and that it could not stop the rally because the motorcycle rally is sponsored by a private group. Although the referendum was defeated, the city of Sturgis followed the mayor's committee's recommendation to prohibit camping in the city park and eliminate downtown street vendors. Well,
And that lasted about 2 seconds.
yeah. For many years, the rally was a 7-day event starting on the Monday during the first full week of August, and in October of 2016, the city of Sturgis expanded the city dates to the 10-day format and had the rally start on the Friday before the first full week of August and then end on the second Sunday. In 2017, the rally became a 10-day event starting on the first Friday in August. Now, attendance has always been kind of the fluctuating feature, but for 10 days, starting in 1990, for example, the official attendance was 400,000 people. The South Dakota Department of Transportation traffic count had it at over 528,000. That's a lot of people on bikes. In 2000, it topped over 633,000. And interestingly enough, the DOT only counted 604,000. So official attendance was actually stronger than the DOT was counting. In 2001, it went back down to 400,000. The DOT counted 530,000. In 2002, it went up to 450,000. The DOT said 561,000. But, it will vary depending on how many people actually show up. To be honest, I imagine they probably have some sort of a tracking system or one of those pressure things in the street so they can tell how many people go by a certain area.
Right.
Which, tax depending on how many time person goes in and out. The one that's kind of funny is in 2015, 1 million DOT called out. The official attendance was 739,000 people.
Now,
That's kind of insane. But given this is 2025, again, this is going to be another one of those
it's a big year.
big year. Yeah, because it's like every 5 years, every even number, you're going to get a major mass of people showing up for these events.
And you said every 5 years, so if it's 10, 15, 20.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that is kind of funny also when you look at the numbers, in 2022, it said that 597,835 by DOT numbers, and the official number was 505,000. So there was more people in official attendance than what the DOT was stating. Same thing with 2023, closer to that magic number. It was 458,000, but the official number had 617,000.
People snuck in.
Yes, snuck in or they gave birth, one or the other.
I can see that one happening.
Oh, yeah. Now, one of the things that also got kind of funny, and this is something that me and Sue both got to see firsthand. Back in the glory days, when we were just married, we had a shop in Keystone. And one of the big things that was going on was the deal with trademarks. Back then you could throw the name on a t-shirt, on a bandana, on gloves, whatever, and it would sell. It was, like you pouring water out of a pitcher. It would come that fast. And for many years, the Sturgis Chamber of Commerce claimed ownership of the word Sturgis, Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, Sturgis Rally and Races through an attempted trademark claim. Well, the trademark claims were later transferred to the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, Inc., which made efforts to enforce the claims. Well, in 2018, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit Court ruled the trademark invalid in a dispute between the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, Inc. and the Rushmore Photo and Gifts. In their ruling, the court stated that the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally is a pluralistic endeavor promoted by multiple organizations. They further stated that the city's involvement does not extend beyond the provision of multiple municipal services. The record stated, "We agree and hold that the jury could not infer from the onerous planning that the city undertakes to provide infrastructure for a rally, that the city was the organizer or sponsor of the rally. To allow such interference would be tantamount to saying that it could not be reasonable to infer that the city of New York organizes the sessions of the United Nations General Assembly because everything it does to assist their occurrence. One cannot infer that the fact that the city augments its municipal services to accommodate those events, a funeral or political protest that it organizes, promotes, or sponsors the event in a way that would permit it to acquire ownership over the event or its intellectual property." Well, for many years, the city had been in agreement with the SMRI and its predecessor in interest, the Sturgis Area Chamber of Commerce, to license use of the word Sturgis, Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and the Sturgis Rally and Races. Well, that agreement involving invalid trademark enforcement generated millions of dollars in royalties and sponsorship dollars. Well, on December 11, 2019, federal judge Jeffrey Viken ordered the SMRI may no longer attempt to claim ownership of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, or Sturgis Rally and Races, and the court order called the trademark cancellations to be sent to the United States Patent and Trademark Office. If I remember right, there was also a case where somebody had said that they could lay claim to it and not even name the state of South Dakota. I'm like, wait a second, huh?
In a way, I can kind of understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
The city doesn't do more than they would do for any other big events.
Right.
However, this is a massive event that a small town cannot do without the cooperation of everybody in said town.
Right.
It's not the same as the United Nations or anything, because those are big cities.
Yeah.
They're more able to support something big like that without everybody.
Right.
Where the rally, if you don't have everybody in that town and the nearby areas cooperating to some extent, it isn't going to work.
Yeah. Now, it says the city of Sturgis, as calculated, that the rally brings about $800 million to South Dakota.
Oh yeah, it's a big boom.
The city of Sturgis earns about $270,000 in 2011 from selling event guides and sponsorships. In 2019, the rally generated $628,000 for local charities. And in 2020, the rally provided 21% of the city's annual revenue.
I'm sure it did. I didn't know you remember that there was a rally in 2020.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, in the 2020 rally, there were 187 individuals jailed.
I'm not
rally.
surprised by that at all.
And approximately $250,000 worth of motorcycles are stolen annually.
Again, not surprised by that at all.
Yeah. Rally goers are a mix of white-collar and blue-collar workers who are generally welcomed as important sources of income for Sturgis and surrounding areas. The rally turns local roads into parking lots and draws local law enforcement away from routine patrols. Furthermore, large numbers of people visiting the town and region served as a model for the state of Oregon in preparation to the solar eclipse on August 21st, 2017, given the expected impact on emergency services. Now, the Lakota Indian tribe, in coalition with other tribes, have protested the large amount of alcohol distributed at the event so close to Bear Butte, but also acknowledged that the income from the event was important to the region and also benefits some member of the tribes.
Right.
Now, there are generally several motorcycle-related fatalities each year.
Oh, yes.
The 75th anniversary in 2015 saw the highest number of fatalities at 15.
That's actually not bad considering how many people there are.
Oh, yeah. You have over 400,000 people flowing through.
That's actually not that bad.
And that the next most deadly years was 2023 and 1990 when they only had 11. Now,
That's not bad.
Yeah. In addition, there are many more motorcycle accidents which are non-fatal. The number of non-fatal accidents generally range from 45 to 70 accidents.
That's still like 10%. That's not that bad.
That's not bad, yeah. One of the leading causes of accidents is riders failing to navigate turns, and another leading factor is often alcohol or drugs.
Alcohol and drugs, we can't really control, but I have to say that our roads are a little bit wonky.
Yeah.
And so if you're not from here, and you get on those roads, they're a little bit whiny. You know, you get into the canyon, get into the needles, they're a little bit wonky.
Oh, yeah.
So I can understand them not being prepared for our roads. It's there.
Yeah, you go speeding down a gravel road and it happens to get a little wet due to certain... by the way, if you do come to the rally, be ready for at least one major rainstorm.
Yes, there will be at least one major rainstorm.
Yeah.
Every year there's at least one.
You can set your watch by it, pretty much. Now, concerns about possible spread of COVID-19 and travel restrictions were expected to lead to lower attendance in 2020, and again, the final traffic count was about 462,000 people. While some health officials and local leaders wanted to cancel the rally, that proved impossible because many of the events take place beyond city limits. Now, the thing to realize with this rally, it's been going on for so many years. You know, this will be the 85th anniversary, but people will come to this rally either on a bike, on the back of somebody's bike, on a trike, but they even have people from overseas fly their bikes into the United States and then take their bikes around.
You cannot keep people. As they said, it's not just the city. People will rent in Rapid. They'll rent in Lee, Deadwood, Central City. All the little areas nearby will rent out to the bikers. It's a great way to, if you have a place you can rent it to the rally, and then you save that money.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can make book during the rally.
Or one of the people that we used to work with at Spiegel, it was so funny because they rented out their house for the rally, 1 week. They were able to pay off an entire year's worth of their house payments from that 1 week. That's how much money they made.
Yeah.
But the other thing to think about is that, again, Sturgis is this little tiny town in the northern hills, but they have, campgrounds and staging areas, all the way up to places like Buffalo in Harding County, all the way up into Newell, all the way down south into Hot Springs, all the way over by Wall, all the way up into Wyoming, Montana.
The thing is that we thrive on tourism. South Dakota has acknowledged that we are a flyover, drive-over state. So if we can get your buck, we will get your buck. And the only way we're going to get it is during the tourist season. So we have all these little tourist traps. And when you're here, we want to get those bikers out there. So all these little towns like Wall, well, it's an automatic draw, but, like Faith and Phillip and all these other little, like Buffalo, you said, all these other little towns are like, okay, we need something to draw some of the bikers here.
Yeah. And the big thing to realize is that apparently we must be doing something good if these people keep coming back year after year after year. One of the great things that I've seen, and if you ever get a chance to check it out, look it up online, people will do these patches, and it'll tell what year they were here. And I've seen some of those guys, they got 30, 40 patches. Because every year, it's like a great big family homecoming. And your motorcycle groups, the Hells Angels will show up to these things. The Banditos will show up, hopefully not on the same block. But, they have all these different groups. You have, your Harley Davidson fans, your Indian motorcycles. You've got the Hondas with the Goldwings. And, now the big thing that a lot of people are doing are the trikes. Because people love to come to these big events. It's like meeting relatives you just haven't seen in a long time. But everybody goes to the Sturgis rally. And I've got friends that have come to it from New York, friends that have come to it from Florida, friends that have come up from Texas, California, Washington State. They come down out of Canada. They come up from Mexico. And, they take and hop on a plane out of England, or they take and get a flight over from Germany, and so it's a big factor that they love the ability that for that week to 10 days, just to get to go drive down through the hills, enjoy the scenery, hang out with friends they haven't seen all year, and maybe even make some new friends.
Right.
So it's definitely a big bonus there. They also talked about when they were dealing with the whole COVID thing was that they had what was so crazy is there was 250,000 participants were recommended but not required to wear face masks in a state that had 9,371 confirmed cases. Now, South Dakota already does not have a lot of population anyway.
No, we're very spread out.
Yeah, very, very spread out, very small. 144 deaths due to the contraction of COVID, 0.016% of the state's population. Some places had checkpoints that would put up, like on the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation, an action that state and federal officials considered illegal. The final traffic count, again, 462,000 people, but many of those attendings weren't wearing masks or observing social distancing. If you ever see pictures of the rally in downtown Sturgis, I mean, it is elbow to elbow with people in black leather and bandanas just milling about. I
will have pictures of, the previous rallies, and we are going to go to the rally this year. I have never been. Every year for summer, my sister and I would spend the summer at my grandma and grandpa's place in Central City. And they would always send us home like 2 or 3 days before the rally because they did not want us exposed to that element. What would be funny is that if they knew how, that did not save me from the detriment of, the evil goers or whatever they were thinking.
Yeah. It said cell phone data showed that by August 25th of 2020, 61% of U.S. counties had been visited by Sturgis attendee.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, people went to Sturgis and then spread out across the country. Now
we would probably be responsible for the zombie apocalypse if it started during the rally.
Oh yeah, it would. Congratulations.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't happen around the rally, we'll be fine. But if it happens around the rally, we're responsible.
Yeah. Get this, it said in August 20th, 2020. 7 COVID cases in the Nebraska Panhandle had been traced to the rally, and 22 cases had been reported among out-of-state attendees. As of August 21st, 2020, Minnesota had 15 cases traced back to the rally, with more cases expected, and a few cases have been reported in Wyoming.
Well, duh, it's right across the
I mean,
border.
that to be fair, 15 isn't that many.
No
When you have 40,000 and 15 cases, that's not that bad.
No kidding. What happened? Somebody sneezed?
I mean, you could have had a much bigger number considering the amount of people that weren't taking precautions.
I mean, you probably would have an easier chance of catching COVID by going to Walmart. I'm sorry, but that's where our cases usually originated from.
I'm
That's
just
where-
saying,
Yeah.
considering that they weren't taking precautions,
Uh-huh.
those numbers are really small.
Yeah.
Of course, our numbers are really small, so if you take, 1,000 people and then 15 of them have COVID, that's,
Oh, yeah.
a pretty big percentage, but overall, that's not that bad.
It said the number rose to 103.022% of attendees on August 26th in at least 8 states, including 37 cases in South Dakota, cases in Wyoming, Wisconsin, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, Washington, and North Dakota. And on August 26th, 6 cases were reported in New Hampshire. Sounds like somebody from New Hampshire was sneezing on everybody.
Uh-oh.
On August 27th, over 20 cases were reported in Colorado. 2 of the cases reported in Minnesota were people who had been at Sturgis and been employee or volunteers. On August 27th, 2020, the results of mass testing in Sturgis became available, and out of 650 tests, there were 26 positive results, all asymptomatic, which meant you wouldn't have been able to tell that if they had it or not. So yeah,
And to me, you have 40,000, you've got less than 30 that are asymptomatic. That's amazing.
yeah, like they said, less than
0.01% were cases that came down with it, which meant you would have had to have been either really compromised, you'd buy a lottery ticket. That's about how
Right?
small the odds are.
But additional cluster of secondary transmission. From the rally was identified at a wedding, of all
Ooh.
places. The number of infections increased substantially through health authorities suspected that the real number could be far higher because the attendees refused to cooperate with contract tracers.
What? No.
On September the 2nd, the first COVID death related to the 2020 Sturgis rally was reported in Minnesota.
Can't prove it.
Can't prove it. Yeah. It said that a few attendees that wore a mask at the 2020 rally could have infected 267,000 people and resulted in $12.2 billion in healthcare costs if somebody got contaminated, if somebody caught the bug. But again, it's that fun random
Factor that
Well, lots of things could have happened.
exactly.
The
Didn't
zombie
it?
apocalypse
No.
could have happened.
Yeah.
It didn't
We
happen.
could have had a meteor strike too, but
I hate that. They're like, oh, we survived the rally, and these things could have happened. And I'm like, okay, good. Cool. Look at all the things we managed to avoid.
Yeah. State epidemiologist Joshua Clayton stated, "From what we know, the results did not align from what we know."
Also, I do love that the bikers were not cooperative. Bikers are such they're I mean, I kind of understand why they were called gypsies because they're like kind of like nomads.
yeah,
They just want to be free and enjoy the wind in their hair, and that's it.
yeah.
Concerns about the virus transmission appeared again before the 2021 rally, expected to draw 700,000 visitors. The city of Sturgis planned to make 15-minute self-test kits for SARS-CoV-2 available during the 2021 rally. Transportation, interestingly enough, shipping companies transported thousands of motorcycles to Sturgis for attendees who arrived via airline.
That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yep. Printed radio, the Journal, and the South Dakota Public Broadcasting featured daily coverage of the Sturgis rally. Saw it on Facebook a lot. The Seattle Times actually covered some of the 2008 Sturgis rally while rock band Dunhoos played at the Loud American Roadhouse. All Gas, No Brakes covered the 2020 rally. And in 1997, notable attendees at the rally included the crew from the television series Cops and basketball player Dennis Rodman. In 1996 to 1999, the World Championship Wrestling held a pay-per-view event called Road Wild. Hogwild for the 1996 event. Rodman would participate in the show in the final year in 1999. Sturgis was featured in season 7, episode 13 of King of the Hill, Queasy Rider. The episode featured Hank and Peggy buying a motorcycle to rekindle their marriage and traveling to the event. Television coverage of the festival by the VH1 Classic Network includes interviews and performances, as well as rock music videos from the Buffalo Chip Campground. The rally was featured in 2005 as part of the ESPN SportsCenter promotion, 50 States in 50 Days. As a funny fact, I found out Ozzy Osbourne actually performed here twice.
I'm not surprised. Everybody's been
there
rally.
at least a couple times, yeah.
If you are biker, goth, you are going to the rally at some point in your life.
Heavy metal, loud, you're going there. This shows American Choppers, duh. Orange County Choppers, duh. Featured bike builders Paul Tito Sr. and Paul Tito Jr. have had multiple episodes that featured bikes being built for and brought onto the Sturgis Rally. In American Chopper Season 2, Episode 10, David Mann Bike 1, Paul Sr. and Jr. Paul and the rest of the crew go to the Sturgis Rally. Paul Sr. talks about how he had been going to the rally for a long time and reflects on all the people he'd met at the rally. One of those people was David Mann, who had been in the hospital at the time and would die 1 month later on September 11, 2004. Paul Sr. credits David Mann's paintings as the reason why he's wanted to started building choppers. In American Chopper Season 7, Episodes 5 to 9, is a bike build-off between Paul Sr. and Paul Jr., where they compete to build bikes to be debuted at the Sturgis Rally. Paul Sr. built an electric drag bike called the Lawless Drag Bike. Meanwhile, Paul Jr. built 2 bikes, the Anti-Venom bike and the Geico bike.
Geico!
Not Geico, Geico. The episodes 8 and 9 are spent in Sturgis, while episodes 5 through 7 focus on building those bikes. The bikes were debuted on stage at the Buffalo Chip in American Chopper Season 11, Episode 1, Welcome Back. Paul Jr. makes a trip to Sturgis to meet with the owner of the Buffalo Chip, Ron Woodruff, and they discuss building a bike for the Buffalo Chip. Season 11, Episode 2's Getting This Bike Back Together. Paul Jr. unveils the Legends Ride Chopper at the Buffalo Chip Speakeasy. In addition to the American Chopper episodes filmed in Sturgis, Paul Sr. also filmed 1 episode of the short-lived show Orange County Choppers at the Sturgis Rally. Season 1, Episode 2's the GAF Sturgis Bike features Paul Sr. and his team building a bike for the GAF Roofing Materials Company. The company had the bike built with the request it would be gifted to a veteran at the Sturgis Rally. Beginning in 2009, the American reality television series began airing on the True TV network, Full Throttle Saloon, showing the inner operations of the world's largest biker bar just prior to the rally opening and the duration of the rally event each year. Sturgis also was featured in the American Pickers' original Season 4, Episode 6, What Happened in Sturgis, originally aired on January 2nd, 2012 on the History Channel. Mike tells Frank to pack up for a trip to South Dakota. Frank says he can't. He's secretly going to his 30th annual trip to the legendary Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, but says he'll cover the shop. Sturgis has also been featured in the TV show Pawn Stars, which features Richard and Corey Harrison visit Sturgis with Chumley Russell on his birthday. But the only other fun fact that I remember about the Sturgis Rally, and it became kind of a legal tussle. There for a while, in an effort to circumvent state law, they tried to build a town. And they worked hard, they were working with lawyers, they were, it was going back and forth. Finally, it died in court. They did not say they had a legal jurisprudence to effectively claim it as a city or a municipality, but the chip was going to be a city unto itself just to the east of Sturgis. I thought it would be cool because, they have the population out there, but for some reason they said that due to its jurisdiction and plus its proximity to Bear Butte, it would not be allowed to settle as a individual town per se. People still go up there and camp though.
You know, they go out, they do the concerts, they have campgrounds, they got gas stations. So, you know, but yeah, if you get a chance, go out and check out the rally. It's a lot of fun, a lot of noise. Be sure to bring earplugs. But this has been the Bearded Historian. We will see you guys probably next week from the rally.
Probably.
Probably.
You're not sure?
I'm trying to decide what day of the week we would go, though.
For the day we won't.
You're trying to die on me right now.
Nah.
Now we'll have to go solo. Thanks. See how rude you are.
You wouldn't record even if you went solo.
Probably not.
Because you never remember to record unless I tell you to do so.
Or I jump on like I had to do at the turtle races. I've been the Bearded Historian from the Bud Files. We'll catch you guys next week.
Bye-bye.